Subscribe, hype, like, click the notification bell and turn on all notifications. And donate with a super thanks donation in the comments section below for the unfiltered, unapologetic Sean's View End. Your home for WWE news, rumors, and backstage chaos. This is where gossip gets exposed around the clock. Now, here's your host, the brash Sean's View End.
We are just hours away before the Raw and SmackDown on the USA Network on a Friday night, but boy, we come to you the delight, the brash, the brazen with CM Punk news, John Cena news, Asuka updates, breaking news on WWE, AEW. We got breaking news on a massive return in the wrestling industry and a huge death that is rocked and still felt to this very day, and what is being said and what is going to be done. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into the news, because this is where it becomes volatile. This has become vindictive sometimes. And this is where we unveil the heavy artillery behind the scenes in professional wrestling. Who here is going to be watching SmackDown? Who's looking forward to it? Do you think it's going to be better than Monday Night Raw? Is it going to be worse than Raw? Is it going to be on the par with Raw? Ladies and gentlemen, let's not waste any more of your valuable time. What is going on with CM Punk? What is his status? There's been all kinds of rumors and gossip and speculation. CM Punk pulled, CM Punk released, CM Punk gone. What is going on? What is the real story? What is the real update on CM Punk? Well, actually, there is a death tie-in to this whole CM Punk situation. Actually, yes, this is where the whole death thing is going to play into it, because CM Punk was pulled, as we all know, from WWE's upcoming European tour advertising, and immediately sparked speculation online again about his future, about his status. Is there backstage heat? Is he in hot water with the WWE? Was he, not accepting a pay cut? Because we all know TKO and their pay cuts and all the releases over the last several weeks in WWE. But a new backstage update has emerged and claims the company sees the situation as something completely different as it concerns the best in the world, CM Punk, the former World Heavyweight Champion. Now, according to Dave Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE sources are insisting right now, and again, plans can change, because as we all say never. A card is always subject to change. There's no deeper issues between the scenes connected to Punk's disappearance from the advertising. Punk has been removed from all the advertising from the European tour and several other Raw dates in June, despite the feeling that CM Punk was going to be there more often, that CM Punk was going to show up. Do you feel that CM Punk adds to the product in 2026? Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, this leads into the death that I'm going to talk about, because, ladies and gentlemen, it was going to be CM Punk. Well, actually, no, it was. It was indeed the best in the world, CM Punk, who was going to take on this star, this wrestler. As a matter of fact, it was going to be for the reigning ECW World Championship at WWE Vengeance Night of Champions. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it was on that night that CM Punk was scheduled to go into what was going to be a wet dream for the IWC, YWC, and what was going to be a magical matchup, and what was going to go down perhaps as the match of the year up to that point in 2007. Ladies and gentlemen, it was going to be the worst thing that happened for that year in WWE without any question. In June, over a weekend, Chris Benoit, and this is a story I never got to cover, I never got to talk about, because quite frankly, there was no YouTube really to speak of around this time. I mean, there was, but it was in its early stages. It was in its early years, its early infancy, and I mean, YouTube came around, 2005, so this happened 2007. So YouTube was very fresh, it was very new, it was very, the new shiny thing in town, but Chris Benoit, who was scheduled to go against CM Punk. Yes, guys, just imagine that match for 1 second. Chris Benoit versus CM Punk. What a match that would have been. And you can see why they called it the IWC, YWC Wet Dream. But ladies and gentlemen, it was in June of 2007 That's something nobody anticipated. Nobody could have called it. Nobody could have predicted it. Chris Benoit, former WCW wrestler, former ECW wrestler, former WWE superstar, murdered his wife Nancy, murdered his 7-year-old son Daniel, and then took his own life. It was one of the most devastating and shocking events in the history of professional wrestling. And it just so happened that the timing of that couldn't have been any worse for the WWE, as the WWE was running an angle on the deceased storyline Vince McMahon, where Vince McMahon got blown up in a limousine. But when the truth came out, when the WWE finally knew what he did, and the details, the savage details behind it, WWE immediately pulled the tribute content that they aired on Raw, and they spent the rest of the night addressing what had actually happened. Now, as you can see, the aftermath to this was absolutely enormous. We were robbed of a dream match between Chris Benoit and CM Punk for the ECW World Championship. As a matter of fact, the WWE was planning to build ECW around Chris Benoit. But, ladies and gentlemen, it was revealed, post-mortem examination of Benoit's brain revealed severe chronic traumatic CTE, with damage described as comparable to that of an 85-year-old man with Alzheimer's disease. Researchers and doctors pointed to years of chair shots to the head and repeated concussions as contributing factors. WWE has essentially scrubbed Benoit from its history since then. He is not in the WWE Hall of Fame, despite many people saying, well, he should be in the Hall of Fame as... This is how people are saying how it should be. We should remember him as Chris Benoit, the wrestler, not Chris Benoit, the man outside of WWE. All right, he is really, rarely, if ever, acknowledged in or on WWE programming. His matches still exist on the WWE's network, but his name is handled with extreme care when it comes up at all. Now, in the aftermath of that, for years and years, he was actually blacklisted from the WWE. It permanently changed how wrestling handled head trauma, chair shots to the head, and concussion protocol, and the ripple effects are still felt in the industry today. Ladies and gentlemen, WWE, again, when this all went down, had already announced that Benoit would be appearing on that Monday's Raw, which was going to be a tribute show to Vince McMahon. But, ladies and gentlemen, WWE, that is when they were forced to really go PG, the blood, the violence, the rhetoric. The vibes definitely changed in the WWE after the Chris Benoit death and the murder. And very sad, very, very cold, very calculated. But then if you talk to other people who knew Chris Benoit, like Chris Jericho and William Regal and even the late, great Eddie Guerrero, Chris was a great guy. He was a good person. He had a heart of gold, and he'd give the shirt off his back. But then, guys, again, this is, the world of WWE never really recovered, I would say, after the deaths of both Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero. Now, you're probably saying, well, Sean, why are you bringing this up? Well, you see, it's going to be next month. It's going to be, and this is not an anniversary. This is not something you want to remember, but it's something that happened, and it's something I didn't get to report on because, again, I wasn't on YouTube at this time, and again, YouTube was still something new. It was something shiny. It was something different. So if I were on YouTube back in that time and back in that era, back in that day, I would have definitely reported on it. I would have definitely brought it up because sadly in the wrestling industry, you had to bring up the good and the bad and certainly the ugly. And this was certainly one of the most ugliest situations in the history of the WWE because, I always get asked, well, Sean, we talk about death a lot here on this channel. And I always get asked, Sean, well, what wrestler's death struck you? What wrestler's death gutted you? What was the most shocking one? Well, obviously, what was the saddest one? Well, obviously, with the way that this went, down, you can't really say Chris Benoit because of what he did and how he did it and how he went about it. Obviously, it was just a horrible, horrible tragedy. When you talk about deaths that really hit me, I'd have to say Eddie Guerrero out of nowhere, seemingly. Heart failure, heart attack, what have you. The years of abuse of steroids really caught up to the late, great Eddie Guerrero. Obviously, Owen Hart really struck me. It really struck a chord with me. Hulk Hogan, Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, even though that's something we kind of saw coming. The writing was kind of on the wall for that one. but it was devastating. I mean, when you hear somebody like Hulk Hogan dying, the Ultimate Warrior, I mean, it's really hard to just say one in particular, what death really struck you and really left a scar. And, it's almost like, some people say, well, why would you cry for these wrestlers that died? You didn't know them. You weren't in their family. You weren't their blood. But you see these wrestlers day in and day out, week in and week out. You see them on TV. You see them at live events. You see them at pay-per-views or PLEs, and you seem like you know them, but in another way. And they're almost like a part of your extended family because they're in your living rooms each and every week. Or again, you go there live. You go to a house show. You go to a pay-per-view. Speaking about house shows and speaking about pay-per-view, ladies and gentlemen, WWE live events, WWE house shows are returning. They are making a comeback in summer 2026, and according to those that know, it will be absolutely affordable. Yes, it will be affordable to bring your family once again to a house show, a live event for the WWE. Your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions on that, the return of house shows in WWE. Also, WWE travel plans for Blake Monroe's SmackDown debut window revealed. Also, the WWE believes AEW may struggle to land major TV deal after current contract comes to an end. Also, we brought it up. Asuka's WWE future is now considered unclear internally. Also, Joe Hendry says WWE nearly signed him years before TNA name changed everything. Joe Hendry names CM Punk as WWE opponent that he wants the most. Ted DiBiase Jr. blasts weaponized justice system after welfare fraud trial acquittal. Timothy Thatcher offering WWE ID contract opportunity in an open challenge match. Also, Blake Monroe wants a spot in the John Cena Classic. And Alicia Tout says she'll hate wrestling forever if MJF gets shaven bald. Also, Rowdy Ronda Rousey says final WWE match was a middle finger to fans. As we all know, Rowdy Ronda Rousey is getting ready for an unbelievable fight tomorrow night on Netflix. Vince Russo doesn't believe Triple H deserves a pay raise in WWE, and a judge rules that WWE ring boys can stay anonymous in the lawsuit against Vince McMahon. The men accusing McMahon, Linda McMahon, WWE, and TKO of negligence tied to alleged sexual abuse during their time as teenagers. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be read online, and that was something that goes way back. Also, multiple segments revealed for the May 15th WWE SmackDown, as Chelsea Green returning to WWE SmackDown just days after her heart procedure, where she was in SVT, where her heart rate was something like 200 plus. R-Truth WWE contract comments clarified after confusion over interview context. Also, the real reason is being revealed right now why, and we brought it up a little bit earlier, why WWE is bringing back more house shows revealed, as the WWE is officially ramping up its live event schedule this summer. And there is a very specific reason behind this sudden change and this sudden occurrence. WWE's decision largely comes down to the company wanting its younger roster to get more live in-ring experience away from television cameras. Do you feel that is good, bad, or indifferent? Also, ladies and gentlemen, speculation on WWE moving Maxine Dupree into a new role with The Vision. Did you all notice? Did you all recognize? Did you all see Maxine Dupree was already in the car with the Austin Theories, the Braun Breakers, the Logan Pauls of the world? What is the situation with Maxine Dupree? Your thoughts, your comments, your opinions. We got SmackDown in a couple of hours. Stay true to SeanzView, because if it weren't for you, there would be no SeanzView. And if it's not brash, well, then you know it's absolute trash. Plenty more to come around the clock. I will never stop for each and every one of you. Subscribe.